sight is frightful, but the fire is so delightful.
If you want to bring in a little bit of the festive greens, the nice fragrance of the pine when you rub it, you can actually just insert it into the soil of the plant. You just take little cuttings.
It's called spatchcocked or flattened. And what that actually means is that the backbone has been taken out of it. This turkey, which is about 12 pounds, 90 minutes.
The Furbo. This is a camera and a treat dispenser. You press a little button on the app and it dispenses treats.
From the Zoomerplex in historic Liberty Village, the Zoomer with Marissa Semkiw.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose, Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows hot turkey and some mistletoe help to make the season bright. Tiny tots with their eyes all aglow will find it hard to sleep tonight. They know that Santa's on his way, and he's loaded lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh. And every mother's child is gonna spy to see if reindeer really know how to fly. And so I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas to you.
Matt Dusk, everyone! Thank you for being here.
Merry Christmas.
That was the Christmas song off his new album, Old School Yule. He's playing for us again later in the show, but he's also joining us at the panel. So why don't we make our way over?
Let's do it.
And meet the rest of our panelists. Thank you all for being here. And to our incredible audience in studio and also at home, welcome to the Zoomer. We've got a great lineup today. We have a botanist and custom designer, a chef, a tech expert, and a certified life coach to help us get ahead of the many demands that accompany the holidays. Now let's talk about traditions. The holidays are often when tradition is passed down. Matt, I read that you recently became a new father. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I also read that having a child is what put the idea of this traditional Christmas album in your head. How is it that that experience led you here?
Well, I think we can all agree that Christmas is really about kids, right? As adults, it's more about getting together and drinking lots of wine. but the real sense of the joy, I believe, it's for the kids, right? So when my wife and I, when we're trying to have a kid, you know, all those ideas came back, all the traditions of getting together with the grandparents, getting together with the family. So I wanted to pass on the traditions I grew up with to my kids. So we got this beautiful record put together, 16 tracks, and it was all the tracks that I grew up with on one giant compilation for my new daughter.
Lucy, what are some of the holiday traditions that you hold dear and near?
Well, we have a mixed family, so we have Hanukkah and Christmas. which actually is a lot of pressure on me.
What's that like?
Well, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of celebration, you know, because you celebrate for Hanukkah, and that's 8 days, although we only do one, and then we do Christmas for the other half of the family, which is Christmas Day. This year, Christmas and Hanukkah fall on the same day.
Oh my.
Christmaka.
Christmaka, or what would you call it, Matt?
Hanumas. Hanumas.
Yeah. So whatever, it means that we have a reasonably traditional Christmas dinner, but we'll make potato latkes with the smoked salmon or something like that. So we'll try to include all the traditions in it.
Amazing. And we'll be talking a little bit later about some of the foods that you have suggested for our audience to cook over the holidays. Sylvia, you are from Sheridan Nurseries, and bravo to Sheridan Nurseries. By the way, this studio looks incredible. Sylvia spent a lot of time here yesterday making the studio look as beautiful as it does. Tradition's really important to Sheridan Nurseries over the holidays, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, Sheridan Nurseries has been around for over 100 years. So we are currently experiencing the 4th generation of people, families, coming to buy their Christmas trees and to celebrate the Christmas tree hunt in our stores. It's fabulous. We've got decked out. We've got lots of interesting things to see and do. And I remember my young children. We took them to Sheridan, selected the Christmas tree, enjoyed the hot apple cider and the little sweets that the stores have to offer. So, yeah, a lot of tradition for a lot of years.
You know, I think too around the holidays, there's often this great expectation. You want everything to go perfectly, and because there's a bit of a build-up, you have these very high expectations, and when it doesn't always turn out the way that it does, it can cause some angst or some stress. As a life coach, do you deal with that ever?
Certainly. You know, Christmas is by far the most popular time of year for people to go to counseling, go to coaching, or into therapy, just to talk around some of the issues that do end up coming up around Christmas time.
And what's some of the advice that you would give them?
I think to prepare a little bit early. I think that's kind of like across the board, the advice you give around, you know, making sure you have your holiday shopping done early and all that kind of stuff. And even if you don't, you end up kind of scrambling at the end. But managing, again, that expectation of what people are going to be ending, you know, what things are going to look like on Christmas Day, so that when it comes, it's not going to be you know, just a big upset for everybody.
You know, I find too that the last person I shop for on Christmas is always the one that receives the most expensive gift. Yeah. Because
Here's some cash.
You're scrambling to buy them a gift.
This is not on sale.
Yeah. And you have to find them something in a quick period of time.
It's like an apology. An apology. Sorry it took so long.
I'm sorry.
When we come back, deck the halls in festive decorations this year. Sylvia from Sheridan Nurseries will join me with the latest holiday trends and simple tips for transforming your home this season. Stay tuned.
If you want to bring in a little bit of the festive greens, the nice fragrance of the pine when you rub it, you can actually just insert it into the soil of the plant. You just take little cuttings.
Welcome back. The remarkable team at Sheridan Nursery spent a few hours here yesterday setting a festive holiday mood throughout our set. Our reporter Darren Maharaj was there to witness. Have a look at this breathtaking transformation.
Well, here at the Zoomerplex, we're getting ready for the holidays with a very special transformation of our Zoomer Hall studio, and we've brought in the experts from Sheridan Nurseries to help show us the way. Hey ladies, how's it going?
Excellent.
Fabulous.
Wonderful.
What are we making here?
We are decorating a holiday wreath. We're trying to show the viewers and the studio audience how easy it is to decorate your home for the holidays. A few simple greens, a little bit of color, and before you know it, you are ready for the festivities. The theme for this year's holiday seems to be a return to nostalgia. Days of memory, of Christmases when we were children. And nostalgia means going back to traditional colors, using simple materials like berries and bows and twinkle lights. Here we've got the example of the Modus light. The light is actually embedded throughout the wire. You can use them for planters outside as well, or for decoration on a dining room table. We're really just going to be inserting them into the tree and just kind of spreading the berries out a little bit, and it makes it look very natural and very colorful. So here's an example of an everlasting garland. This one happens to be all decorated already. You just kind of manipulate the branches like this to make it look a little bit more open and realistic. And then we are going to wire this onto the front of the demonstration table.
And if you really want to take things to the next level, why stop at just decorating the space when you can accessorize yourself? In Toronto, I'm Darren Maharaj for theZoomer.
Very nice hat, Darren. Thank you for that. Sylvia's with me now. We're going to talk about some of the top Christmas decorations this year, starting with the tree, which is often the focal point of a home. So what have we got here? I see a lot of traditional Christmas
We do.
decorations.
We have traditional colors, as we mentioned on the tape. Traditional Christmas trees were always spruce trees, but they drop their needles very, very quickly. So there are a lot of different options. Now we go with fir trees. We have balsam fir. This is a Fraser fir. We have pine.
So it doesn't drop its its needles very.
It doesn't drop its needles,
Yeah.
so it will hold on to the tradition. So for families who have to celebrate for longer periods of time, then like Ukrainian Christmas, then you'll have your tree in good shape for that entire period.
And certainly going into the new year, if you wanted to keep it up, that would be good. But
Absolutely.
if you don't want, you know, a 7-foot tree in your home, we have other options. So
That's
let's make
right.
our way back here.
That's right. A lot of people who live in condos don't really have the ability to have a real tree, so there are lots of options. One example here is the lemon cypress. It's a house plant that can be modified to be a beautiful Christmas tree in no time. So we're going to use the Modus lights that we put on the live tree. If we find the on-off switch, we can see how beautiful they are.
Well, that's
So it's
pretty.
a battery pack.
Yeah.
We can just tuck that in behind. And of course, we're going to, you know, take a little bit more time with the lights at home, but we put the lights around, tuck them in.
Easy peasy.
Easy breezy, easy breezy. Then you can use something as simple as the little clear balls or the white balls. They make great little ornaments for the tree. You can just
I
hang
see.
them
Just tie 'em
on,
on.
place them on like that. Of course, this is a great place where you can take advantage of some Christmas ornaments from your collection. Here's an example of one, Nostalgia. We made that one at Children's Craft opportunity, so you can pull those out of the box, maybe throw them on the tree, get a little bit of decoration going.
And it smells nice too.
It does, yeah.
Smells
When
like
you rub
lemon.
the foliage, you can really get that sense of lemon.
Yeah, all right. What have we
yeah.
got here? The
Okay, another
traditional poinsettia.
traditional poinsettia, exactly. It's kind of boring all by itself, but if you want to bring in a little bit of the festive greens, the nice fragrance of the pine when you rub it, you can actually just insert it into the soil of the plant. You just take little cuttings, and it really helps to you know, make it look a little bit more full and very, very fragrant. So that's super easy to do. And you can forage for these items in your own backyard.
Not in a public space, of
Not in a
course.
public park. That would not be correct. Yeah, that would not be legal. The last little thing would be just some sort of a simple little centerpiece. You may want a bigger one if you're having a big festive meal, but I wanted to point out how simple it is just to bring a little bit of green into the house. You can use any type of watertight container. It can be a cereal bowl. It does not have to be anything really fancy. You just purchase a block of the Oasis, which is the foam that absorbs the water. You can get that at any florist or Sheridan Nursery store. Again, we're going to be using little pieces of greens, offcuts from your Christmas tree when they're trimming it, the bundle from the store. You use small, short pieces to insert. You always cut a fresh end. Always pull off all the little pieces that are on the stem so that it's a thin little piece going in. And then you insert it into the foam in a fashion that makes it look like it's a natural kind of cascading effect of the plant.
And finally, what have we got right in this urn right in front of us here?
Yes. So of course, decorating doesn't stop inside your home. You want to try to decorate the outside of your home, and we have lots of custom urns available. This particular one is made of natural materials. It has a little bit of Christmas bling and the ribbons and the berry, but through the winter months, you could pull those Christmas items out and it would just be a nice winter urn. And so we are offering that today to one lucky contestant.
That's true, and it's valued at $179. So, to our audience, have a look underneath your chair. If you have a piece of paper there. Oh! Woo! Congratulations! Congratulations to the lucky audience member sitting right over there. And when we come back, Lucy Waverman joins me with tips on how to downsize your holiday meal in a timely fashion and also with style. Stay tuned.
Better luck next time.
So this is a pavlova. It's a dessert that is crisp on the outside and light and airy on the inside. It's a meringue.
Straight up, Baruch Hashem, it's Rabbi Yo here, sitting reading Torah, thinking about the menorah, avoiding exercise, therefore I'm sitting in the Hanukkah Aura. No mall for me, no need to visit Sephora. Manifesting our hope and desire that the glowing fire will make hurt and hunger retire. Thousands of homes, millions of sparks, they flow to you like ditto marks. Hey, I love you, Alatka. Now this is the menorah. We bring light into our own homes. Let's do the same for so many other people who live in darkness. Let's bring those sparks of joy and happiness and peace to the entire world. I hope this holiday is the brightest one ever. Let's do our part. You do yours. Let's bring peace, happiness, joy, and love to this planet. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah.
It's a good reminder that no matter your faith, you gotta eat. So I'm standing here with Lucy Waverman, the author of the 6 o'clock challenge in the Globe and Mail, and her latest piece is dedicated to helping people get food on the table quickly and with some style. So Lucy, why don't you take it away?
To make a dinner for the holiday that you can really not kill yourself and get frustrated and tense and stressed about. We developed this menu, which is very, very easy to make. And the centerpiece of the menu is the turkey. But the turkey is flattened. It's called spatchcocked or flattened. And what that actually means is that the backbone has been taken out of it, removed completely. We've put it on a cookie sheet here. It's a baking sheet. Sort of just banged it flat a little bit with my hands, and it's spread this way. Now, this turkey, which is about 12 pounds, which would normally take about 2 hours or something, or 2.5 hours in the oven, 90 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And
it's a huge time saver.
First of all, it's a huge time saver, and secondly, the legs and the breasts cook evenly so that you don't have this like dry, overcooked breast, and so the legs are okay. I do this all the time. I wouldn't do larger than a 16-pound turkey. And the other thing to know about it is that you can buy these foil pans that you can do them in that are big enough. I happen to have a baking sheet that's big enough, but for people who don't.
How many people would this feed?
This is just over 12 pounds, at least 8 people. Now, to make it taste good, though, I've made a butter with a lot of herbs in it and garlic. And what you want to do is you want to brush this all over the skin before you put it into roast. And it roasts at 400 for 90 minutes. It should be about 165 at its thickest part. Now, one of the things that I do for a turkey, which you can do or not do, it depends how much you like to handle food. And here is my suggestion for this, is you take a plastic bag to do this, is that you go underneath the skin of the turkey. So you can just use your fingers and you can just loosen it. And then you take your butter and you put it right on the breast meat. And what that does is it gives it a lot more flavor. So this is all ready to go. We baste it maybe every half an hour. We'll put it in the oven. And after your 90 minutes or so, you get your finished product.
The more appetizing part of this process. Look at that.
Doesn't that look beautiful? Looks absolutely beautiful. And that's, you never cover it, okay? And it cooks absolutely perfectly. You have to have things to go with it. And you can make ahead. These are make-ahead mashed potatoes. And the reason, the way that I make them is I beat quite a lot of deli cream cheese into them and some egg yolks. And then you put them in a dish and you bake them in the oven, or you can reheat them in the microwave. Whenever you want them, you can make these up to 2 days ahead of time.
And how long would that take to prepare?
To prepare, half an hour. Not long at all.
Yeah.
My family love green beans, so we always have green beans. But I made the green beans ahead of time. I boiled them, and then I heated some butter and some garlic and a little lemon juice, threw the green beans into the mixture, put it in the dish that I'm going to serve it in. I put them in the microwave for just 1.5 to 2 minutes right before serving. This is squash with dates and Brazil nuts. Brazil nuts are the sexy nut this year, you know? So if you want to be trendy, we got the cut up butternut squash, tossed it with some ginger, some cinnamon, a little bit of oil, put it in a 425-degree oven for 10 to 15 minutes. It starts to brown. You toss it around, add your dates and your Brazil nuts, cook it about another 10 minutes, take it out, and then again, this can reheat in the oven. It can reheat in a skillet. And when I reheat it in the skillet, I put in a little bit of butter, a little bit of lime juice, and a little bit of balsamic vinegar, and that just gives it a really nice flavor, you know? And that's what we're looking for, is flavor.
Now, of course, every holiday meal needs to be paired with a good bottle of wine or some champagne. So what have you brought for us here?
Okay, so I believe that we should start with a sparkling wine. Champagne if you like, but this is a wonderful Ontario champagne. We're not allowed to call it champagne because it's not made in Champagne. It's a wonderful Ontario sparkling wine called Cuvée Catherine, and it's reasonably priced. It's at the LCBO, and it just gives a really festive start to the meal. In terms of what to drink with turkey, 2 ways you can go. You can go to the Pinot Noir. This is from Prince Edward County. It's Rose Hill Run. It's a really great Pinot Noir, and it has a nice rich flavor with the turkey, but some people prefer white.
Well,
right?
I was just going to say, you typically think of drinking white wine when it comes to eating turkey.
Not necessarily. Try a Pinot Noir because it's lighter than any of the other wines, and it goes really well. And then unoaked Chardonnay. Unoaked Chardonnay, people say, I don't like Chardonnay. I think it's the oakiness that they don't like. These Chardonnays have a wonderful, crisp, lovely flavor and go extremely well. They come from Ontario, they come from Argentina. You can get them from practically any country.
You'll notice that the bottle is half full, and that's because a couple of our panelists have been drinking it over at the table over there.
And this leads us to the dessert. Okay, so this is a pavlova, and the pavlova originally came from New Zealand, supposedly. Who knows? But what it is it's a dessert that is crisp on the outside and light and airy on the inside. It's a meringue, and with I used 4 egg yolks when I made the potatoes, and I used the 4 egg whites to make the meringue. So it's a really good thing to do. So you beat your meringue really thick with a cup of sugar, and then you add in, believe it or not, a tablespoon of vinegar and a tablespoon of cornstarch, and it gives it this lovely soft interior. You bake it in a low oven, 275, for about 1 hour and 15 minutes or so. You let it cool, and then you can do this like up to 4 days ahead of time. Feel it. See, that's crisp. But the inside is, I think you should. And the inside, and it's really soft inside, see?
Oh, yeah.
And then we put an eggnog cream on top. You could put anything. You could put lemon curd. You could put just plain whipped cream. You could do chocolate. But we whipped the cream with some cinnamon and some nutmeg and, you know, the things that would go into eggnog. And then we whipped a little rum into it as well.
Oh, excellent.
And then put it on, shaved chocolate, and used candied orange peel, because I love candied orange peel. That's candied orange peel on everything as far as I'm concerned. So this would be, this is a terrific Christmas dessert because it's light after the heavy meal.
Thank you, Lucy. All right, when we come back, what do you do when an unwanted guest takes a seat at the dinner table? Stay tuned.
If your expectation is to have the perfect family with the perfect turkey and the perfect everything, you're bound to find little things that didn't go the way you had seen them in your imagination and then feel disappointed at those.
To all the viewers of Vision Television, I wish a most blessed Christmas. This is a time of the year in which we give thanks to God for coming amongst us, and we need to, each one of us, resolve to be faithful and loving in the year that lies ahead. Merry Christmas.
Welcome back. Now, the holidays, they can be stressful at times, especially around the dinner table. What's more is this was a particularly incendiary election year, so discussions of this nature are bound to arise over a turkey dinner. How do we avoid a family feud, or is it inevitable? Annie?
A very, very good question and a timely one, certainly. I think that when it comes to big family discussions at the dinner table, try to keep it light as much as you can. I don't think it's important to try to change somebody's opinion at the dinner table or try to recruit somebody into your way of thinking necessarily right then and there at the dinner. If you think it might be a problem, sometimes a phone call ahead of time can kind of eliminate some of that daily or on the day of stress, and really just keeping as many people included in the conversation as possible so you don't get the one person who's dominating the conversation and maybe their opinion is a little bit strong.
It's funny you say that. In my family, we welcome the family feud, but we don't really feud. It's sort of like we're all sitting at the dinner table and speaking at really high volumes about 10 different things, and we welcome it. What's your experience?
Oh God, no, we just separate everyone in different rooms. It works out great. My family's, you know, we all have different opinions, but at the end of the year, you know, we all get together, and it's the one time where if things get out of hand, we send them to the kitchen to clean. I mean, this is what we do. It just makes it, we've never had problems, but at the same time, you're right. I mean, we always try to keep the conversation light. We talk about religion, we talk about abortion, you know,
Abortion?
What about politics? Do you?
I just say, we're Canadian, that's all we say. We apologize before we say, I'm sorry, but this is my opinion.
Well, Canadians are a little more polite, that's true. I'm not sure if it's the case that American dinner tables are a little more contentious than in Canada. What do you think?
I actually don't think they are, because in many ways people are like-minded. When you come from a family and there's the family ethos, and you tend to, most of you think the same way. I'll tell you where the issues can start is when your kids start dating or get married or something like that. And sometimes someone comes in who is really totally different from the family. And that sometimes can be difficult. I think it also depends where you seat people.
I was going to say that too. We always set out place cards.
Yeah.
We buffer people from each other in large groups. It's a great idea. And you prepare your adult children for the fact that they will be the buffer for uncle whoever.
Exactly.
So you're going to do your best to deflect the conversation if it's necessary.
That's how we set this table today. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing too, is of course over the holidays you want to be inclusive and you want to invite everyone, but there's always the oddball in the family that causes the problem. So what advice could you give us?
I think, again, that goes back to the expectation, is that if your expectation is to have the perfect family with the perfect turkey and the perfect everything, you're bound to find little things that didn't go the way you had seen them in your imagination and then feel disappointed at those. Whereas I think we all go home after the holiday season and go, holy, that was quite a bit, but you know, that's my family, I love them, and you know, you enjoy them. Even that's my partner's family. I love my partner, I love my, you know, my family, their family. And so I don't think we ever really go away with it feeling too bitter. We want to really just embrace all of those little dynamic pieces.
Yeah, managing.
I can make another, like, to top on that too. It's like we play a lot of music in our house, and the thing is that music will allow for those awkward pauses to not become awkward, because it kind of goes, and then someone starts to try to talk over the music. So you have different conversations that are happening at the same time. I find that a dinner table that's silent causes for like, and you don't want to have that come out. So I'd say put on a new, you know, Matt Dusk old school.
rapidly approaching, and tech is often at the top of many gift givers' lists. Mark Saltzman is here next, and he's going to tell us about the best gadgets to buy this year. Stick around.
The Furbo. This is a camera and a treat dispenser. You press a little button on the app and it dispenses treats.
Kwanzaa is a week-long celebration of African culture and tradition. In 1967, African-American leader Macaulay Karenga proposed the idea to observe the African traditions of love, unity, and togetherness. So every December, this is celebrated, and we're happy to celebrate with you. So everyone out there, happy Kwanzaa on behalf of the Ontario Black History Society.
Welcome back. Well, gift giving is a huge part of the holidays, and it's always hard trying to figure out what you're going to buy your significant other or a friend. Well, you're in luck because Mark Saltzman's here, and he's going to walk through these gadgets with us.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, let's tech the halls, shall we?
I like that.
I know. All right, cheesy pun. Let's start off with a great smartphone. This is the Moto Z Play. It is a $0 phone on a 2-year plan. Super slender, as you can see. It's a very thin Android phone that has a 50-hour battery, which is amazing.
That's amazing.
A gorgeous 5.5-inch screen, as you can see. And it works with what's called Moto Mods. These are these devices that you can snap onto the back, like a speaker, an extra battery, if should you need even more than 50 hours. And my favorite is called the Moto InstaShare projector. Check this out. So as if that beautiful screen wasn't enough, if you can do me the honors of holding up a little screen here.
I'm like Vanna White over
here. So look,
here.
it's hard to see here with this brightly lit studio. There we go. You can project up to 70 inches a movie onto your wall or ceiling. Look at that. Not many smartphones can do that. So very cool stuff. That's called Moto Mods, and the phone is Moto Z Play.
And what's the price of that?
Yeah, so it's a $0 phone on a 2-year plan, or $650 outright if you don't want to go with a carrier.
You know, it's interesting. I've seen a lot of those big projectors in people's homes, and they seem so heavy and kind of just like they get in the way.
Now in your pocket. It's amazing, and also great for the boardroom too. Now let's talk about pets. We all love our dogs and our cats. Well, now when you're bored at work or you're out and about and you want to peek in on your little furry friend, you can do so with the Furbo. This is a camera and a treat dispenser. So you load it up with your favorite doggy treats or cat treats in there at the top. You open up the app. You can see your little friend come over to that's going to hear a sound. It's going to know it's going to be rewarded. It's going to come over to you. You can see, talk to it, take a picture of it. It hears you.
So you can hear your voice?
You sure can. And then you press a little button on the app and it dispenses treats. So it shoots it. I have to figure out how I can do this for my kids with Fruit Loops or something, but you get the idea. So they'll just be hovering around. This is $224 and it's called Furbo. Great stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now for the big kids, and we do love coffee, this is the Nespresso Prodigio, the world's first Bluetooth-enabled coffee maker.
Sounds exactly up my alley.
Exactly. So you stretch, you wake up, you stretch, put your feet on the floor, you feel like a nice cup of fresh coffee. Take your smartphone or tablet, press a button on the app, and it will wirelessly tell your coffee maker to make a delicious cup of coffee. You just put the little module in first, the little thing there, and then it makes a fresh cup, and of course lots of different flavors, and this is where the water goes in the back. There's lots of features within the app, including scheduling and timing as well. So that's from Nespresso. I love their commercials with Danny DeVito and I forgot who Danny DeVito and
George Clooney.
If I was of the female persuasion, I may remember him. Of course I remember Danny DeVito. We have something in common, right? Anyhow, this is awesome. It's called the Epson Fast Photo. It is the world's fastest photo scanner. So we all know we've got photo albums and shoeboxes full of old memories that we haven't yet digitized for future generations and to preserve them before they deteriorate because it's so cumbersome. But now you load it all up, you connect it to a computer, you load it up, press a button, 1 second, both sides in case there's a nice inscription on the back. You know, maybe your grandma wrote something nice to you and you want to have the date. 1 second per side, it does color correction, and then it digitizes it, and then you can even find by keyword what you're looking for. You could type 1970, or you can type in the word wedding, and it'll pull up the appropriate photo. It does 30 at a time, which is awesome. And it also works with business cards and kids' artwork, and it's so much faster than a flatbed scanner, right? So that's $8.99 for the Epson Fast Photo FF640. And then finally, you may have heard the buzzword 4K TV. So these refer to these new televisions that have 4 times the resolution of HD. In other words, instead of 2 million little dots or pixels that make up the image, we're talking more than 8 million. And in plain English, that just means so lifelike. It's like peering through a window, as you can see.
It almost looks 3D.
This is, right, it does give you an extra sense of depth without having to wear any silly glasses. This is from a company called Hisense, and it's called the H7 series TV. I brought the 43-inch, under 600 bucks. Oh. So the prices are dropping. This also has something called HDR, or high dynamic range. Apologies for the geek speak, but it adds even more brightness and contrast and color. It is a smart TV, and the smart TV inside the platform where it lets you watch Netflix and YouTube, that was developed in Ontario, which is pretty cool.
Hey,
it's a
that's
Canadian
neat.
story right here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there you go. Based out of Brampton, Ontario. So you can see you don't have to break the bank for jaw-dropping, gorgeous 4K quality, and there's no shortage of ways to see 4K now, whether it's streaming services, your TV provider, gaming systems, and even the ability to shoot 4K on many smartphones.
All right, thanks,
There you go.
Mark. That was great. All right, when we come back, the moment you've all been waiting for. Stay tuned.
The lights are turned way down low. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Ladies and gentlemen, Matt Dusk.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we no place to go, let's sing! Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. And it doesn't show signs of stopping. And I brought some corn for popping. The lights are turned way down low. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. When we finally kiss goodnight, how I'll hate going out in the storm. But if you really hold me tight, all the way home I'll be warm. And the fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbying. But as long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Take it away, my man. Keep going, guys, come on. Here we go. When we finally kiss goodnight, how I'll hate going out in the storm. But if you really hold me tight, all the way home I'll be warm, and the fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbying. But as long as you love me so, last time, let's do it. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Hey! Todd Penny on the piano.
Szot on the piano. That was amazing. Thank you. Thank you for coming in. That was awesome.
My pleasure.
Honestly, come back anytime.
Really?
Yeah. And to take us out, Marilyn Lightstone sings her original all-inclusive holiday song, The Light Shines All Over the World. Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and Merry Christmas. It's time to zoom out.
This time of year all the world over, the Creator ignites a great spark, and the sun begins its ascendant and beats back the powers of the dark. And all over the world there are miracles
are lifted in praise. A virgin sweet child is born in a manger. A droplet of oil lights the lamp for 8 days. And the light shines all over the world. The light shines all over the world. Oh, how beautiful is our small planet, shimmering blue in black space. From far stars one day we'll pay homage, first home of the whole human race. Let's wish us to all of the nations approaching this brand new year. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and a world free from fear. And all over the world there are miracles, and voices are lifted in praise. A virgin sweet child is born in a manger. A droplet of oil lights the lamp for 8 days. However we worship, whatever our class,